morning, and welcome to another edition of In the Spotlight with Mayor Jeffrey Mims. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
And of course, as always, I got some special guests in my room right now because all my guests are special. So if you take a moment, just introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Tess Mitchner-Assingo. I'm the Executive Director of Dayton Leadership Academies.
Okay.
And my name is Eric Wright, and I am the Senior Dean of Students at Dayton Leadership Academy.
And you want
having us.
Okay, you want to clean these guys in Dayton. Okay, trying to make sure that you get everybody to be dressed just as sharp as you are. Yeah.
That's my other job.
That's your other job. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, let's again a little bit of background about yourself. What brought you here to Dayton?
I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio.
Okay. All right.
Born and raised. I left for college and after that, and I came back in 2013 to raise my children here with my parents close by and take advantage of the affordable living and job market opportunity and education for my kids.
Okay. All right. Solid. Yes.
And I am originally from Lima, Ohio.
Okay.
And what brought me here also is a job opportunities here in the Dayton area.
Okay, so your mayor there, Mr. Sharita Smith, does she know you're here?
I have not met Mayor Sharita Smith as of yet, but
good person.
On my list of things to do here.
Really good person. I think she's the first female mayor
That is
for Lima.
correct, yes.
Yeah, and we do some things together. We're part of the Mayor's Alliance, the Ohio Mayor's Alliance, as well as U.S. Conference of Mayors, and as well, I think National League of Cities mayors as well. Plus, she also has a division, I call it division of My Brother's Keeper, mental health program that we started here in Dayton in 2014. So she, I think, came on about 2015, maybe 2016, with their group up there.
Okay.
So we do a lot of interaction, if you will, on behalf of young black men that we have in the city of Dayton. So, in Ohio, actually. So good program. Yeah. So you are affiliated with the Dayton Leadership Academy.
Yes, representing the school.
Okay.
We are a charter school on the west side of Dayton. Currently, this year, we have 550 students we're serving, kindergarten through 8th grade. I've been there 10 years. This is my 10th year. Okay,
solid. And, of course, your dean of students is there. How long have you been there?
I have been there. This is my 23rd year.
Man.
On staff. However, I started working with them when the school originally opened. We were doing a rites of passage program through Omega CDC.
Okay. Yeah. And you're constantly working with young men in a variety of capacities. I know, of course, every time I'm there, you're there.
Yes.
Yeah. That's your employment, of course, because you're supposed to be there.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the support programs you do, let's talk about some of the diverse things that you do that makes your school unique. Because, we talked a little bit about some of the issues dealing with charter schools across the city, across the nation. And it's one of those initiatives that sometimes causes people to have partisan petitions, positions, if you will, not whether it's political partisanship, but just partisanship in terms of whether you think we should have a unconstitutional system of education further fragmenting resources to schools within the same community.
Well, I always like to remind people of the origin of charter schools in the 1990s, which was about offering choice. So families should have a choice and find a school that fits their child's needs. And if you are in an affluent community, you can afford and pay both your taxes and a private school. Or you can relocate to a different community.
Right.
But we believe that you should have a great option, first of all. And secondly, we're a public school. So the per pupil dollars follow the child. So it's just using resources to educate them in a different model and really believe in offering families choice. And they're our customers. And if they're not satisfied, they exercise that choice.
Yep.
And really want to empower families to find the right fit for their child.
Okay. There's a lot of discussion. I was part of some legislative actions back in the 90s. I was a lobbyist for probably 30 years in terms of working for education. And there was a lot of conversation about the group that was pushing charter schools to say we can do it better and we can do it cheaper. But part of the problem that we seem to have had was they never defined the it. Okay, and so that it is still floating out there in terms of what you're thinking about. From the aspect of if you're focusing primarily, if you will, on test scores, which I know you guys are not, because it's one of the things that makes you different, and we're talking about
Well, we're
that
still
here
held
shortly.
accountable to them.
Everybody's held accountable to
Yep.
the test scores, okay? But the issue in terms of where you are, that part of the conversation that we had earlier is that we sometimes get focused on the type of school
Yes.
as opposed to what's actually happening in the school. And when you look at the quality of schools across the nation, there are inputs that they put into that make things happen. And one of the things that I see that's happening, at least the times I've been to your school, which has been several times. I mean, you guys call and I come. Any school call and I come. And the reason why I do that, because I have this passion for young people, and because I know they're going to grow up. Okay, so when they grow up, they're what? They're citizens as far as the city of Dayton is concerned.
Right.
And so the aspect of how we put them in the best position to make the strongest contribution to our community by having a choice. And of course, your school goes to the 8th grade.
Correct.
And so when I look at those who are graduating from high school, I want them to be able to make a choice into which set of their God-given talents do they want to use. Do you want to go to the military? You want to go to college? You want to go into the workforce? Or you want to go to technical school? Or any one of those combinations? And so as we talk about those things, and of course you hear me say that when I visit your schools as well. So what are your thoughts that makes you different, and how do you do some of the things we're talking about?
I would say first and foremost, we're a leadership academy, and we actually put programming behind that. So when we did our strategic plan and kind of reevaluated our mission statement about 5 years ago, we said to ourselves, what does it mean to be a leader, and how do we develop students as leaders? We know that developing the whole child is important, the social emotional skills, the executive functioning. So we implemented a program called Leader in Me, where our students learn the 7 habits of highly effective people, and they have leadership
Stephen
roles.
Covey stuff?
That's right,
Okay.
exactly.
Right.
So they're learning those skills targeted lessons that we teach every day and reinforce with students, talking about their, circle of influence, speaking with them about how to synergize and cooperate with people that are win-win situations, because that's what the real world is. And at the school, we want them to be leaders in the classroom, so they all have leadership roles and jobs like lots of classrooms do, but also across the school. We took a step back and put the kids in charge. So when we have morning announcements, the students lead them. When we have assemblies, the students lead them. When we had our longest table event, the student was the MC. So giving them as many opportunities to both lead activities at the school and then also provide input. So kind of like a student council.
Correct.
We have a leadership club in every hallway, and that leadership group gives feedback to us. We have to get, input from our families, our staff, and our students. So really putting them in positions where they have voice and input. And then finally, made a commitment to have our students in the community as much as possible. So investing in community service opportunities. Anytime our students can go and contribute to a mural project. Anytime our students can go and be a part of the Third Street Bridge opening, our students were there. We make sure that every quarter we do some sort of community service, whether it be a cleanup or creating, decorations and cards for local agency, really having them see themselves as the leaders of the city. Yep. So I think what really distinguishes us is that we are developing leaders for today and tomorrow.
As a student myself, way back, like yourself, probably decades ago, one of the things that we tend to learn probably the most from were field trips.
Yes.
And it's just like that the whole city, the whole state, if you will, is your classroom.
Yes.
And I think the aspect of those schools that do a lot of that
We do.
find themselves and their students having a better connection, if you will, to what's actually happening as far as the world's concerned. And they have a strong connection to purpose. So it's not just I'm learning math right now.
Right.
Someone says learn math. They're learning math because they see that there are a myriad of jobs that they're listening to people like myself and some of the other city leaders talking about bringing jobs to the city of Dayton that require this additional preparation for manufacturing, for aviation-related jobs, for things medical in the medical career. Because we have a great medical network. We have a great water resource program. We have a strong educational network. Anywhere from Sinclair to the Kettering Health Hospital has a nursing program. Same thing with again Sinclair again in that space. Premier is doing some things again with the school system and working in that area. And then all of our colleges and universities beyond that, our four-year universities, are doing things as well. You know, UD, Wright State, Central State, Wilberforce, and those connections. So are you doing things? I know right now you just got the highest level is 8th grade.
Yes.
But are you having any opportunity to talk to the universities or give field trips in those spaces as well?
So regarding field trips, last week our 7th and 8th graders went to the Freedom Center and explored that through their African American history class. We've had classes go to Boonshoft. First graders went to Boonshoft to apply their science. And to your point, it comes alive. You know, they're really able to apply and develop their vocabulary. We were learning about this in class and put connection to it. Students who've gone to COSI, students who've gone to performances through the Performing Arts Alliance. So we probably on a monthly basis have at least 1 or 2 grade levels going on a field trip. But our partnerships, we have students actually scheduled to go. They're doing in March. Central State invited our students to come in. They're doing a day of service to commemorate their president. I think it's his 10th maybe anniversary that he's there. So we have student teachers also from Sinclair, Central State, and Wright State. So one of the ways that we're developing educators as well. So we want to bring in student teachers to work with our students, but also see our methods and methodology and learn from our teachers and what they're doing. And then those partnerships kind of pay back, right? Build a pipeline for teachers to come back and work at our school, expose our students. We've definitely had students at Christmas on campus through UD, all of our 1st and 2nd graders. So we really try to take as many opportunities for our students to be out in the community and for the community to come to our school. So we had wonderful volunteers from the Black Student Union at Wright State and Central State participate in our longest table event, our community cleanup. They love it and they want to come back. You know, college students want to contribute. We just have to make it easy for them.
Yeah, I'm always there talking to them about coming back to Dayton.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And if I could add one other thing, I think what we've done a great job with over the years is just build relationships with the families.
Okay,
and removing some of the barriers and the obstacles and challenges that some of our families may have and the kids may have, whether it be uniforms, whether it's helping support them, whether it's been displacement or whatever the case may be. Those families feel comfortable saying, hey, look, let me go to the school and talk to Mrs. Assingo, myself, or our family outreach director and say, this is something that I need. You know, because so often we find in the community, parents, families are struggling, but to know that you have a school that you can go to and say, hey, this is what I need some support in.
Right. Yeah, I know your longest table event, 3 weeks ago, maybe?
Right before
Okay.
Thanksgiving.
It's hard for me to remember everything.
Yes, that's right.
I was pretty close on that. Okay. It was just great seeing so many of the parents who were there with their young people. And the long table situation. So talk about that a little bit more deeply in terms of how and why you came up with that particular approach.
Well, I think this was our 8th annual,
Okay.
and it came about because our families come from all over the city of Dayton and Trotwood and
Correct.
Jefferson, and so the families, we want them to feel comfortable in the school, not just coming in on conference day or meet the teacher night, to
Or
really
to see the dean of
or to
students.
see the dean of students,
Okay.
so that they feel comfortable and have opportunity to interact. So it was multi-purpose. Make them, have an opportunity for families to come in and feel comfortable at the school, get to know the staff, and also just to, fellowship, break bread together.
Right.
Food brings people together. And so it started off 8 years ago where we just looked at the longest table movement across the country. City of Dayton did it across the 3rd Street Bridge a couple years ago, I think. And so that was the origin, and we just connected it to Thanksgiving, and this year used it to celebrate our 25th anniversary as a school.
Okay. I know, speaking of some of your volunteers, I know Marlon Shackelford is another volunteer. I know you wound up hiring the voice, Terry Matthews,
Yes.
and in terms of his work in there. Now, what's his role? Because I know he's a very active person at the school.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Mr. Matthews is the kindergarten through third grade dean of students. So
Okay.
he works with that population, and then I work through with the fourth through eighth graders. But in some case point in time, we both come together to
Right.
do whatever is necessary. So that's been his role. He's also the basketball coach and mentoring, doing a great job in that area.
Yep.
He started off as a substitute teacher 7 years ago.
Right. Right. I remember.
So, we're really proud of the fact that we develop our team, retain our team, and build them as leaders as well.
Yep. As we move more and more through the educational system, talking about the things that work, I'm always tickled when I go back and talk about my favorite subjects in terms of school, and looking at the first thing, my favorite subject was recess. So I made sure people knew, going out, playing, hanging out with my friends, and doing things from that perspective. Now, it sounds like it's just, just a waste of time, but as you go through life, you talk about relationships, and you talk about some of the people that you met and interacted with, and how those relationships supported you in school, and then as you move forward, move on in life, how those relationships have benefited you even beyond that. And so I'll go back to some of the things in terms of both Dayton Public Schools when I was at different ones there, as well as schooling in terms of Jefferson Township. And I go back and I list people like Ricky Poole, who's a business leader in this community as well, Dean Lovelace, a former city commissioner and former professor at University of Dayton, but also our relationship in the Boy Scouts and in track and field and doing things of that nature. And Ricky also involved in baseball. When we talk to people who feel that we should take every minute of education and have it tied to just specifically hardcore academic programming, how do you balance some of the kinds of things that you know that work for young people that benefit them in terms of lifelong skills, and how do you also keep them focused on doing the kinds of things that are mandatory as far as state is concerned?
Well, I mean, we promote the habit of put first things first. So the idea is like, we're going to work hard, get our work done, and then we get some time to have fun and enjoy ourselves. And so helping our students understand, well, we're going to take time to finish that assignment, and then we can have 5 minutes of free time or hang out with our friends, or, recess we build into the master schedule.
Okay, I was going to say that's important, because see, you and I were getting ready to have a fight. I got to do all this work first before I can play.
Well.
No, I can't have this. Because my mother was a professional pastry cook, and so I would always eat cake and
Before
pie
dinner?
before dinner, during dinner, the whole deal.
Well, you must have great time management because you can fit it all in.
But it was all fun. But I do truly understand, so there's a difference in terms of learning styles and teaching styles.
Sure.
And part of the training as educators, and especially colleges of education, is to help them understand, which is one of the reasons, divert for a second, one of the reasons why a lot of schools have these partnership entry-year teacher programs. And it's because they know that one size does not fit all.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so they blend these different programs in terms of that nature, which is one of the reasons why I was saying that, because I've been to your school so often, I see a lot, because you have volunteers. Again, I started talking about those a few moments ago. Marlon Shackelford, who has programs consistently where he comes in and works with young people, but he also brings in other guests, myself, some of the business people, elected officials, and they all have a chance to talk with young people and ask them to write down some of the kinds of things that we talked about in that particular day that benefit them from that perspective.
So the way that we built that into is the master schedule.
Okay.
And so we said our 7th and 8th graders, 5 days a week, they had 4 specials. So they went to art, music, PE, and health. Okay. And so we had this extra day. And we made it a study hall one year. We made it a computer lab one year. And so 2 years ago, in conversation with Mr. Shackelford, we decided to make it a leadership series where we would bring in community leaders. And so that that is built into the schedule every Friday morning, 8:30 to 9:15, bringing in community leaders to speak to our students and expose them. Recess built into the schedule every day before or after lunch. Every student, kindergarten through 8th grade, all the way up to middle school, they need time for recess and to hang out with their friends. Love watching those boys out there playing football and the girls doing the cheers during their break. They need a break time. And then building in partnerships. So we are Schools of Excellence in Prevention. We just received a platinum level award. And the way we do that is by looking again at our partners coming in, and maybe they go in and meet with students at breakfast time, or they go in and meet with students during their specials period. So they are able to access students and use those prevention programs and those services, but still get their minutes for reading and math. So it's a lot of creative scheduling. We have some Friday afternoon clubs from 2 to 3. Students who get all their work done can go to a club that they pick, and that's an enrichment opportunity because not every student can stay after school. So the Girl Scouts come in and work with our middle school students. Maybe they're not in a Girl Scout club, outside of school. They're not a part of a troop. But we can bring those programs into the building and give our students access to them.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great.
We probably have, about 15 partners?
Oh, yeah.
At least that now, coming in and working with our students.
Who are some of your partners?
So Good Samaritan Behavioral Health, Thrive Therapeutics, Gym City Scouts, Marlon Shack for the Rites of Passage Program, Omega CDC, and that's just to name a few of them.
Yeah, 'cause I think it's important to mention that because, again, as we address more and more of the needs that we have as far as our young people are concerned, it's good for parents and members of the community to know that the kids are getting these additional services when they attend your class programs.
Right. Mobile dentist, shoes for the shoeless, coats donated by Rotary Club. Yeah.
Yep.
People, there's so many wonderful resources and organizations here.
Yeah, I know even though your students just moved to the 8th grade in your overall program, they have attended some of my teen voting projects in the past where I have the 18-year-olds, those who are seniors in high school, march across the bridge and vote for the first time in their lives. So I've seen them, again, attend several of those different events when we're having young people going through that process. And for us to be able to communicate why you should vote and to go back and tell their parents why they should vote and then go back and try to get them to be involved in this process as well. Because one of the things that is very, very clear, those communities that vote the most get the most. And we try to
And
plant
you start
that
them
seed.
early.
Yes, that's right.
Try to plant that seed early. Try to get them
Every year,
involved in
starting
the
at
process
18.
where they understand those things and how those things happen and how they work, because it's so critical to have representation that you feel are are in line with the types of things that are prioritized by yourself, your family, your livelihood, and your community. And I say it to them in that particular way, even to adults. If the candidate's not working to support you, your livelihood, your family, and your community, then why should they get your vote?
Right.
More and more of our citizens seem to be sometimes getting those messages confused, but sometimes some of them get it right and they do whatever. But those communities that get it right consistently, like I say, are the ones that are enjoying the higher quality of life. And when I talk to young people, again, as we talk, we have conversations with them, it seems, which is some of what you alluded to earlier, when they are connected with what's happening in the community, when they are connected with their work and their play, and they're having an understanding that if you work just as hard on your timetables as you're working on those free throws and those three-point shots, you'll be in good shape when test time comes. Okay,
And you understand you need those math skills to do all those sports statistics. That application of it.
Yeah. One of the things that Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson put in place, that triangle offense and triangle defense, and you had young people who claimed they didn't have any knowledge about geometry, and triangles and how they work. But then when the coach explained it to them,
Yes, because I actually run that offense myself when I was coaching basketball. So I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Same thing in terms of soccer. I can pass you going down the field, back and forth with my eyes closed because I know where you're supposed to be. Yeah. So it's good. It's good. So what else you got coming up? We got a few minutes left. So what other kind of programs do you have coming up?
Well, on December 23rd, we're partnering with Brandy Hoskins basketball program to do a first-time event. It's called Books and Basketball. So our students are going to come in on their first day of winter break and do something productive. They can come in and do drills and get books donated by organizations and do some literacy activities. The library system will be there as well. So that's exciting.
Yeah, so have some of your kids explain triangle offense to her.
I sure will. Triangle offense.
Okay, see how that works.
And then in the spring, people on our social media platforms, we are releasing a series of videos in reflection of our 25th anniversary. So we brought in about 25 different former teachers, board members, parents, and students to really reflect on their experience of 25 years. So we'll be pushing those out so people can hear, including Mr. Eric Wright. But really wonderful to hear the reflections on what does it mean over 25 years to educate almost 24,000 students at Dayton Leadership Academies.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. What do you have going on, Mr. Wright?
So back in November, we kicked off our Keepers of the Nest campaign. We are now getting volunteers. Some of the men that have students in our building, they're going to start coming in volunteering, walking the halls, and just interacting with some of our male and female students. So we'll be kicking that. We should be wrapping up, I'd say, in January.
Okay.
Yep.
And you have to come back to the building because we have a grant from Ohio Arts Council for a visiting artist and create a mural in our atrium with our students. So there'll be a new addition to the
I'll
building.
definitely be back because there's some additional things I want to share with you because we're working on a whole initiative as far as peace is concerned in the whole Dayton region. And I want to make sure, because we're going to need to have all of you.
Right.
I want to make Dayton a safer place,
Yes,
and
please.
have peace for all, if you
Yes.
want,
Okay.
and hatred for none. Okay, how'd that work?
That's good.
Okay.
I like that.
So again, thank you for being here.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
the
us.
Appreciate this.
opportunity.
Time has flown by so quickly as
really
it always does. Okay, so we'll be back again soon.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching another edition of In the Spotlight with Mayor Mims. Okay, have a great day.